and it's just like, it just hits you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like,
You can just smell the clean.
honestly, I always used to take the biggest, deepest breath and just like enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Evie.
Hi, I am Brett.
And we are Brett and Evie.
Brett and Evie, the Clay Fam on YouTube.
Yes, and TikTok.
And we're going to start a podcast, basically. Something that we've wanted to do for a while. We've now got these fancy mics and these boom arms. We've got some nice lighting. So,
And our house is finally ready.
yep.
We've got the setup.
Today, we're going to be talking about whether or not you should move out of London and move to the countryside, because that's something that we've done. We used to live in London for 8 years. And then we stopped living in London. We went traveling for a year or two. We were in the middle of nowhere, sort of had nowhere to call home. But now we've been living in the countryside in Shropshire for the last 2 years, coming on 3 years now. We were living in a caravan for the majority of that, but we have recently moved into a house. We've been in here for about 3 weeks now. We're just going to discuss different points from our experiences living in London and living in the countryside, pros and cons, and see which is better.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Sounds perfect.
I feel like for the majority of this chat, we're going to you're probably going to be siding on London.
Oh, probably.
Being like the advocate for London, and I might be more like, yeah, I think the countryside's better. I think that's probably the way it's going to go, because I think that's like how we basically feel.
Okay, we'll see how it goes then.
So the first point I've got there is affordability. I think that's a big difference between London and the countryside.
Well, yes. I mean, for the price of a small apartment in London, which is, I don't know, maybe 400,000, 500,000 pounds.
Yeah, you can
I
buy
guess
a house.
depending on like what zone you're in. But yeah. Okay, so for example, like a studio flat, right? In zone 350,000,
Yeah.
400,000.
Yeah, and that's like, so a studio flat is
Yeah.
obviously a flat which doesn't have a bedroom. The bed folds out of the wardrobe, out of the cupboard in the living room sort of thing. There's maybe one separate room which is a toilet, but everything else is pretty much open plan.
Yeah, and then your kitchen's probably not even closed off either. It's kind of like
Yeah.
part of the same room.
Yeah, exactly. And for that sort of money, like 350k in the countryside, you can legit get like a 3-bed.
Yeah, I mean,
Three-bed
again,
house.
depending on where in the countryside.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, you can just...
There's much more options, many more options.
Many more options, yeah. Your money just goes further in the countryside, which is a huge pro, because you can get a garden, which obviously is just better for raising a family in.
Garden. Yeah, that's one thing that, like, for me, living in London for 8 years, I just wanted to have that outdoor space, and like I was craving for it really badly.
Did
and
you
really? Yeah, I've said it many times.
I feel like I never missed it.
Yeah, well, it's funny because literally yesterday you just said to me, like, it's so nice to have outdoor space, and I didn't realize how much like I would like it and enjoy it, like just being able to like pop out and you're in the garden, surrounded by trees, and like not ambulances going up and down the road.
No, that's true. That's true. I think it's just one of those things you don't really think about until like you have your own garden, and then you appreciate like the flowers that are just growing wild. And
so I think a lot of people, when they think about affordability and moving out of London, it's like, yeah, you can get maybe a bigger house, but you don't necessarily consider that house will have a garden, and it might have a garage and like a driveway, and you don't have to worry about parking a car on the road, and
yeah.
So there's way more to it than just like the houses.
Yeah.
Food out of London, you know what? I think it's more expensive.
Abysmal.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. But in terms of affordability, I actually think food out of London is more expensive. Okay, you've got the high-end restaurants in London, which are the most expensive.
Yeah.
But then you also have loads of really good cheap eats, right?
This is true,
Like
because there's just so much competition.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is just trying to produce the best food at the best price. And yeah, there's just so many options.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in the countryside,
go on.
yeah, you're just limited, right? Like there are like maybe 3 different takeout options in the town center or wherever you're at.
Yeah, I think we found a takeaway, Indian takeaway, Chinese, whatever, pizza. It's the same price, but when you go to a pub for a sit-down meal like Sunday roast, it's not cheap in the country, is it?
Yeah, it's either the same or it's more expensive.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. And most of the time not as good. I'll admit that. I know you're the one who's like, Evie likes to go to London every weekend, or I don't know, at least once a month on a food trip.
I do like to do that. We do end up... Yeah, I mean, I think we've ended up going down less often than I've wanted to.
I think it's because we've been working on this house. Now we're in, we can go more often.
Yeah, this is true. I just miss all the cuisines that you can get in London. Thai, Vietnamese.
Yeah, I do miss the Thai food.
Or the dim sum. You just can't get it up here.
What's it called? Massaman curry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And the green curry.
Yes.
Also, we found recently in London a
food
hall. Yeah, it's called Bang Bang Oriental. Check it out. It's not central, is it? You have to be willing to drive a bit or get on a train or whatever, I guess, to go there. It's like North London.
Yeah, but it's good for us because like it's on our way out of London. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got like 20 different stands with like
and
really,
all
really
sorts
good
of different food, like Singaporean, Malaysian, Japanese, and
what's your favorite thing from there? I know what mine is.
I think the Thai there is my favorite, to be honest.
Mine's the Thai iced tea. Like that, if I was going to go there and get one thing, I'd be getting the Thai iced tea. You'd probably be getting the sticky rice, right? The mango sticky rice.
No. I think I'd probably get that fried fish with the sweet and sauce. It's not. No, actually, sorry. It's a red curry. Red curry. Like
the one you had last
fish.
time?
Yeah, it was really good.
Fair enough.
Because I wouldn't be frying it on my own here. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not.
But yes. So in the countryside, basically only two options for takeaway. Either pizza or Indian food, where we are anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas...
It does seem that way, doesn't
when
it?
we were in London, it was just everything. Everything was an option. And I miss that so much.
Yeah. Also, where we've situated ourselves in the countryside, we're like... we've based ourselves around... all the hospitals which are in Evie's deanery, which she could be sent to work.
Yeah.
That was like our sort of priority on.
I think it was definitely our like
here,
top
right?
priority, wasn't it? Because
So I think, but what I'm saying is, we could have like sort of prioritized location of good food, right, and like lived closer to. Well, for example, like there's much better food in Shrewsbury, right? I'd say what we're talking about here is like food availability, which is the second point that we've got down for discussion. But I think we've already sort of started talking about that. But yeah.
So I guess to recap so far, affordability, countryside.
Countryside wins every single time.
Every single time. But for the food, definitely London wins. So they're kind of equal now. So it's on par.
You know what though? Like affordability, the countryside does win. But in terms of there's more, you can get a bigger house, right, and stuff like that. But if you've got serious money, I think London wins.
But that doesn't make sense. I mean, like, yeah, if
no,
if
I'm
you
not
have a lot of
talking
money,
about
of course
affordability.
You can afford.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about affordability. That's what I'm saying. The countryside is good if you have limited funds. I'd say you can have a better standard of living outside London.
Right.
But if you've got a shed load of money,
and you can afford
London's
that
better.
Nice giant 10-bedroom house.
Yeah,
and,
like St. John's Wood
gardens.
mansions.
Yeah, fine.
There are so many nice houses in London.
Yeah.
And obviously they had come with gardens and driveways and gates.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind one of those like little townhouses either.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah. We always used to drive by or walk by and sort of one day.
Yeah, just like
right?
a £5 million townhouse.
Yeah. It was so nice. I saw this thing the other day. It's just on Instagram or whatever, and they were saying like the top 1% of earners in different age brackets. And within our age bracket, which I think was like 30 to 35 or something.
Now you're just giving away our age. Speak for yourself, by the way. I'm not 30 yet.
Oh, yeah, you're actually not.
It's just you.
All right, so we're in the lower end of the bracket for sure. You're not even in the bracket, but it's like 500,000. So we're not there. But I feel like, you know, a lot of people are a lot richer than that. So that just shows that the 1%, it brings it down because it's not that high, I didn't think.
Yeah.
500,000.
But I guess within that 1% though, like the top 0.1%, they're just out of...
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Just
but there must be so many on less than 500,000. That's what I'm saying, to bring it down to that. Because think about the people who are like millions or billions. So there must be so many on less to bring it down. Does that make sense? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm getting confused now.
All right, let's move on.
Yes. Next
point. Third point I've got here is activities. There's just more to do in London, isn't there?
Yes, there is. I mean, around us, what do we have? We've got zoos.
We've got
parks.
So things that we do around here.
Garden centres. I've never been to garden centres more in my life than the last 1.5 years living in the countryside.
Yeah, that's a pretty dull thing to say, isn't it?
It is really
TK
dull.
Maxx has become your go-to shopping.
It actually has, and I actually enjoy going to TK Maxx these days.
I don't.
Which I am ashamed to say. Not ashamed, but I just never went to anywhere like TK Maxx in London because there were so many options and so many other places to go.
But to be fair, a lot of the stuff you've been buying for TK Maxx has been like house stuff because now we've finished
the house. This is true. They're great for house stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have that sort of... you would never have done that in London because we only lived in a small little flat and we didn't really need anything.
No, this is true. Yeah.
So maybe you would have if we lived in London and had a house.
Yeah,
you got museums in London, haven't you? You got all the parks, you got the theatres, you got all that sort of... And
the shopping centres like Westfield. It's just a dream.
Yeah, they are better shopping centres, and there's just more going on.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate how what a great variety of shops there were available.
Yep.
In just one shopping centre compared to anywhere around us. It's just non-existent.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So activities, London wins.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the things you can do out of London. So there's a lot, I was going to say a minute ago, that you can just have a free evening, right?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go and do this, which in London could be I'm going to go to the theatre, or I'm going to meet up with my mates and go.
Yeah.
There's loads of things, but to be fair, in the countryside, there's loads of things that people who live in London would want to do, but not be able to do, and it seemed far away because they might want to go.
Like what?
Like a walk in the park. Hold on, you can do that in London too. Yeah, you can do that in London too. There's just more wildlife out here.
I think maybe going on a wild walk, along the fields and farmers' fields and stuff.
Yeah.
And just those walks.
Putting your wellies on and going out and
they're
getting muddy.
very specific paths on it that you can go on.
Right. Anyway, moving on. I feel like it's getting a bit dry.
No, there was one more point that we were going to say about that. In London, because you can get around so easily, by the tube and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out and meet friends for a drink, you can just get back home on the tube without worrying about transport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whereas out here, because there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Just the tube or a regular bus.
Yeah, especially the village that we live in. There's an old bus stop where there obviously used to be a bus that came through, but now the bus doesn't come through anymore. So if you can't drive out here, you're screwed. I went out with my mate the other day. It's probably about where we went was probably about a 45-minute walk. So it was walkable, but I got Evie to take us. She picked us up after.
It was not a 45-minute walk, is it? I thought it was
More
only
or
a
less.
20-minute walk.
Huh?
Half an hour.
Maybe I exaggerated a little bit.
It's definitely exaggerated.
So yeah, but you need a car to get around, don't you? In the daytime as well as at night. It's not just a night thing.
Yeah.
Because even when we lived in London, there was no such thing as a night tube, which now they have night tubes. But when we lived there, if you stayed out later than midnight or whatever, towards the end maybe. But
you're making us sound old.
No, the majority of the time when we were there and in uni anyway, there was no night tube. So if you were in London Bridge and you wanted to go to North London and it was 2 a.m,
good luck.
Just waiting for buses for hours.
Yeah.
It was pretty shocking. As bad as out here. Out here, you can get a taxi. I mean, you can get a taxi in London as well, actually. Yeah.
It's definitely much more. I think taxis are much easier to get in London than out here.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Here, you have to call them and book it a day in advance.
Yeah. Good luck going out and having a night out and just expecting to be able to get a taxi home. It just doesn't happen around here. No. Right. Next point.
Okay. So obviously, on that point, London wins. Right. So that's 2-1. 2-1 to London.
2-1 to London. All right. The weather. I know it's the same country and we're only 3 hours away or 2.5 hours away or whatever. But I honestly think that the weather is quite different in
it's
London.
worse here, right?
I don't know if it's worse or if you just notice it more. Do you know what I mean? Because in London, you're surrounded by buildings. The streets are obviously made with decent drainage. There's never puddle. There's not much mass amounts of water. Whereas out here, there's flooding.
Flash floods.
Are you going to tell them about the time where you got stuck? Or am I going to do it?
Okay, you do it. I'm still a bit traumatized.
Hopefully, we've got a photo of this or a video, and if we have, I'll put it on the video. But yeah, Evie called me up one day when she was heading to work, screaming.
I was
made
not
it
screaming.
Sound. Okay, crying.
Okay, I did cry.
Made it sound like she was literally being swept down a river in the car, floating down the river. Yes,
not.
You did. I was freaking out. I was half an hour away. Jumped in the car, got to her as fast as I possibly could. And when I got there, the back tyres of the car were slightly in the water. And the rest of the car was totally fine.
It wasn't totally fine. It died. The car died.
Okay, the car was dead, but you were alive. And we revived the car.
The car was dead for about 45 minutes, I think. It just wouldn't start. Okay. So I think I need to tell my side of the story now because you're just going to ruin my reputation.
Unfair, was it?
That was very unfair.
Okay, go on then.
Okay, so what happened was it was a very, very, very rainy, thundery, stormy.
Yeah, it was very bad.
Sunday morning.
Well, that's why there was the floods, but yeah.
We were living in the caravan at the time, and Brett was staying over with his parents and Kira. So I looked out. There was a giant puddle of water in our drive, and I was like, "Oh, that does not bode well." That was a bit of foreshadowing. So I was like, but I gotta go to work. So I got in the car, made I think I got halfway there, and I was like a little bit under a bridge. The water just got a little bit like deeper there. And I saw a car go in front of me and I was fine. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll be fine. And then a car came the opposite way. And it made a huge wave. And I was like, oh, that does not look good. But then I was getting out of it. I was like, yes, okay, I'll be fine.
I think what might have happened was that wave that you described sort of covered the front of the car and went in like the radiator. And
yeah, whatever happened. But the car essentially died on me.
Yeah, it did.
And
to be fair,
I was panicking.
It was pretty pooped, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I got there and I tried to have a go at starting it as well. But because it's an automatic, what was it? There was something.
It was stuck in park for some reason.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't get it out. So we couldn't even tow it.
Yeah, that was it. That was what I was about to say.
It was very, very bad.
Yeah, so we waited it out. By the time I got there, they'd sort of closed the road, right? I think they'd already closed it by the time I got there.
And like people, even though they saw that I'd gotten stuck in this water, they still kept going past. They still kept going through this giant... I'm not going to say puddle, okay, because it was much bigger than a puddle.
So what you're trying to say, the people in the countryside are no friendlier than in the cities? One man did get out and help you, though. Yeah, he waited with you until I got there.
Yes, that's true.
Some old bloke.
He was the only nice man who bothered to stop for me.
Yeah.
Anyway. What are we talking about?
But when it's nice, the weather.
Oh, yes.
But when it's nice, I think the weather's nicer in the countryside. Honestly, I've said it before as well. In the summer months, it's hard to beat the UK when it's nice, especially down in Cornwall and places like that.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's honestly hard to beat. 25 degrees, a bit of a breeze, sunglasses on.
By the beach.
Banging. That's hard to beat.
It's a vibe.
Yeah. So, is the weather better in or out of London?
To be honest, I still think it's better in London because if we have like a bit of a cloudy day here, it'll probably be sunny in London. And it's just
But then
warmer.
You also have the days where
it's warmer in London.
It is warmer in London, but you got the pollution.
This is true.
I guess that comes under the umbrella of weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to always find when we lived in London, we drove out to the countryside to visit family or friends.
Oh, the air always smelled different.
Yeah. You drive for 3 hours up to wherever we are, Shropshire. You get out of the car, and it's just like, it just hits you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like,
you can just smell the clean
Honestly, I always used to take the biggest, deepest breath and just like enjoy it. Because you get used to it after like 2 or 3 seconds, right?
Yeah.
But for that one first breath when you get out of the car, it's like, see you London air and like, hello fresh.
And like the black soot that would come out of our noses. Like
that's mad, yeah. I used to blow my nose after getting on the tube and coming home every day after work or whatever. Blow my nose and literally it'd be black.
It's just so unhealthy. Yeah. It can't be good for you.
Yeah, that doesn't happen around here.
So I guess overall, should we say the countryside's better then for the weather?
I reckon.
Yeah, okay. Weather/environment.
Yeah. Cool. What's next?
Are we equal now at the moment then? 2-2?
We've done 4.
I've lost count.
Yeah. And the next thing I've got there is travel links. And like, by travel links, I mean, so you've got travel links to like airports to be able to travel out of the country, but you've also got travel links for commuting and socializing as well. So go on. What do you think?
I think London is a clear winner for this.
The only thing that the countryside's got going for it versus London is obviously the tube. The tube's great, but like we just said, you get out of the tube and it's like soot up your nose, and when it's busy and hot and it's rammed, it's just horrendous down there. It's nice to be able to jump in the car and drive door to door on a commute.
This is true. Yeah.
But yeah, London's got obviously, I wouldn't say better airports, but more airports. So you've got more options for going on holiday to look for cheaper flights. Basically, the way that we look for holidays is just we always start by going on Skyscanner, putting in our dates. If we're flexible, just putting in the whole month, and then just putting from all London airports to anywhere. And then it gives you the choice of Luton, Gatwick, Heathrow, City, all the different airports. And it's just you just got way more choice. Even though we've now moved up to the countryside, often we still drive down to London if we're going on holiday. Because
it still works out cheaper, yeah. Quite a lot cheaper, even when you take into account the cost of fuel and having to get up earlier.
Yeah, it's still. Well, when we're planning it, we always think, that's worth it. But then when we're actually doing it,
why did we do this?
Yeah, when we've got an 11 p.m. flight to come home and it's delayed and it doesn't take off until 12:30, and then we get home at 2. I mean, back to the country at 2, and then Kira's with us, and she's like, it's just pain in the ass.
Grumpy, kind of a bit tired,
massive regrets, right?
Yes. And there was that one time.
That one time, but there was that one time in Bandcamp. What time?
Well, our flight got delayed, we were meant to arrive back at like 9, but in the end we got back at what, 1 a.m.
Yeah, something.
So we had to drive back up, and we were just struggling to stay awake. We had to stop on the side of the road, have a nap before we could like make our way.
Oh, that was before Kira was born.
No,
right?
no, it wasn't.
Oh, really?
I'm sure Kira was with us.
Don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember one time, we were driving back and I was driving and I just couldn't stay awake. I was like, if I drive any further, we're going to crash. We stopped in a petrol station or something.
That's the time.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think Kira was with us then. I don't think so.
Okay, well, whatever.
So travel links, London wins.
Definitely London.
Yeah. Socially as well, London, we've already touched on this, but London's better because you can jump on a bus, you can jump on a tube. You don't have to think about what time you're going to go home or pre-plan anything like that. You just go out and you just go home whenever you want to go home.
Yep.
It's brilliant, to be fair.
It is.
Yeah. So if you're a social butterfly, London's the place to go.
And you're younger, I guess.
Definitely. Yeah. Whereas if you're sort of having a child, maybe, I don't know. I think there's a lot of benefits of having a child in London as well. But if you're sort of more ready to settle down, you've lived that life, which is sort of how we felt, right? Then maybe it's time to move out to the countryside.
Yeah.
Have a garden. If you wanted to go shopping yesterday and buy a trowel.
I thought it was a spade.
Yeah, she was like, I need to buy a spade to dig up some daffodil bulbs. I was like, what do you mean? We've got spades. What? We haven't got any spades. You know, them little ones. I was like, you mean a trowel? She was like, yeah.
Never heard of this word in my life.
Yeah, so we're going to the garden centre, Evie's favourite place later.
Gosh.
Later today or at some point this week to get some trowels.
And I need a watering can. This is what happens when you move to the countryside. You need gardening equipment.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's a nice change as well.
You know what I've just realised?
What?
I've only got one more point. So if what are we now? Oh no, we're 3-2 to London.
Yeah, London's
winning. So this
winning.
could end up in a tie or it could end up in London smashing it. Do you want to know what the last point is?
What is it?
Job opportunities. I mean, London surely wins on job opportunities.
I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah. Whatever job it is. There's just more of it in London.
However, we moved out of London
for my job.
Because of your job. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
You chose London as your first choice. You picked outside of London as your first choice. You got it, so then we moved out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like you got kicked out into the countryside. It was you chose to, and then we moved out for that reason.
Yeah, but I guess specifically for anything medical related, any jobs in London are just.
Can I just say as well, your voice, because I'm listening to the audio here, just sounds so nice.
Oh, thank you.
Compared to my voice, I just feel like I'm just
really
getting echoey, croaky nonsense.
Like a toad, essentially.
I could listen to you all day.
Oh, that's right.
What are them people who do that? Like, you know, they do like reading or relaxation something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
Have you seen them?
No, I don't.
It's people with nice voices. They just like make videos reading. I don't know if they're reading books or telling stories or just something. You should maybe.
Oh, that's one of the nicest things you've ever said to me. It's very sweet.
You're welcome. It's not what I thought you'd say, but yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so job opportunities. London wins, surely.
Yeah, no, like as I was saying, from the medical point of view, I suppose any medical job in London is just more competitive compared to out here in the countryside. But yeah, it just depends on what you want, really.
Everything's more competitive in London, but there's just so many more opportunities. So, like, I think it's easier to get a job there. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, in general.
And then if you do get a job in London, depending on what sort of industry you're working in as well, even when you're in the job, there's more opportunity as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd be working with more people from, for example, when I worked in London, I was like traveling constantly, different countries, different people from all over Europe on some of the jobs.
Yeah.
Whereas like the jobs themselves are smaller in the countryside, so there's just less of that happening. There's less opportunity to meet people and.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, London wins.
Yeah, so that's 4-2 to London.
Maybe we should be moving back to London.
Maybe we should.
Maybe in a couple of years' time, but definitely not anytime soon.
Yeah, I'd like to move back to London only when we can afford a nice big house with a garden and a driveway and one of them mansions, basically. So I hope that we provided some insight based on our experiences living in London as well as moving into the countryside. And if you've watched this much or listened to this much of the podcast, then I assume that it's been of some value, which is great. And we're going to continue pumping out videos now.
Yes.
And we've finally moved into the house. It was about 1.5, 2 years in the making. Did it all ourselves. So it's not actually finished, but we're in. And the rest can just get done when it gets done.
Yeah.
We're now going to concentrate on producing more content. So yeah, more podcasts, more finance videos. And I don't know if Evie's going to get back onto your YouTube channel, are you?
I think so, because I've just done another exam, and so I was thinking maybe I'd talk a bit more about that.
So Evie's got her own channel, in case anyone listening doesn't know that. She's got a YouTube channel where she talks about all things medicine. So yeah, worth a listen if you are interested in medicine.
And eyes.
Yeah, eyes in particular. She's an ophthalmology doctor, which means doctor of the eyes, eh? Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. What's the next episode going to be about?
Maybe something about the caravan.
Yeah, we were also thinking about maybe the next episode being how much we spend in a week.
Ooh,
so like how much we're spending now that we've moved into the house versus when we were in the caravan, because like utilities and everything have gone up now. So we might in the next couple of days have a look at our finances, because we do write it down. So it shouldn't be too hard to put together a video sharing, our finances and how much we spend in a week. That could be kind of interesting. It'd be interesting to figure it out ourselves and just see it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right then.
But we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.